Now, when Tevin Campbell got into the music scene, he was one of the youngest solo artists ever to be signed to a major international record label and had young girls dreaming of that perfect guy. His sweet boy child voice belted out ballads such as Tell Me What You Want Me to Do, Alone With You, and I'm Ready, just to name a few. He joins us in studio to talk about his musical journey and what brings him to South Africa. Welcome, Tevin. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, where did your musical career actually start out for you?
Oh, it started in Waxahachie, Texas.
Yeah.
In church, in the church choir. Then it moved from there. Bobby Humphrey, a flautist in New York, heard me sing over the phone, and then she flew me out to New York and recorded me singing in a club called Sweetwater's when I was maybe 11 years old. Then she sent the tape to various record companies, and Quincy Jones saw the tape, and there you go.
Speaking about Quincy Jones, actually, he's the one that discovered you. How old were you and how did you meet him?
I was 12, and you know, I think the first time I met Quincy was in the office at Warner Brothers. You know, it was so long ago, but I'm pretty sure it was in the Warner Brothers office.
And quite emotional, actually. I see that you've got quite an emotional attachment to it as well.
Yeah, we're close to this day.
Yeah. And talk about the pressures now. You're a young artist being signed, one of the youngest artists actually in the industry being signed. How was the pressure for you, and how did you overcome that? How did you deal with those pressures?
You know, I mean, I look back on it. No kid can deal with that kind of pressure.
Yeah.
You know, I was talking to a lady earlier.
Yeah.
The good outweigh the bad. I mean, I got to travel the world and meet different people, and I learned a lot earlier, you know, in my life. So, yes, there were pressures, but hey.
But you're still traveling the world. The thing
I'm
is
still
that you're
traveling
still
the
traveling
world.
the world. You still got those opportunities for you. But also, just to name a few of your accolades, I mean, also in Broadway. I mean, you did well on Broadway. How was it being able to sustain yourself as an artist on Broadway on such a platform? It must have been challenging as well.
It was very important for me to stay there for longer than 6 months. I mean, R&B artists had a reputation of not being able to last long on Broadway, doing 8 shows a week.
Yeah.
But I actually did it for 6 years, so I'm very proud of myself.
Have you always wanted to be an artist? Was this your aspiration from a young age? And I mean,
no.
Yeah.
I just love to sing. I walked around the house, sang all day. School, I used to walk around, sing. I just love to sing. I still do.
And what are some of the significant lessons that you've learned from the industry, having come such a long way? If you could do it all over again, would you still do it the same way?
I wouldn't change anything. No.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't change anything. I think that the most important thing in this business is loving yourself. You have to have that foundation within yourself.
Well, I can imagine that artists and South African artists are actually watching this interview now thinking, but I want those nuggets of wisdom so that I can know exactly what you did to sustain yourself in the industry. What can you say to that budding artist or musician who just loves to sing just like you and has got big dreams and big hopes and dreams and seeing the world? What do you say to them?
Well, stay humble. You know, I think a lot of people make the mistake of seeing something on TV and seeing it glorified and thinking it's going to be a certain way. It's a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
And it's dedication. But you have to really be humble. Gotta stay humble.
Let's talk a little bit about your visit to South Africa. What brings you to the country?
I'm on the Devos tour, so I'm performing. I'm doing Port Elizabeth Wednesday, and I'm doing Cape Town, I think Saturday, and back to Joburg Sunday. I'm very excited.
Are you very excited to meet the people in the country? And how's the response been so far?
It's been surreal. I can't believe the response. It's been so positive, the love, you know what I'm saying? It's been so long since I've had anything out, you know, so to feel that love is really, really cool.
Yeah. And of course, dropping your first solo album in 1990, it must have been quite a big step for you. And I can imagine that if you're a musician and you just love music and you just want to sing, and then you actually have that album in front of you, what was that experience like for you, looking back now?
It was weird. It was weird. Going to school was weird, having an album out, you know. It was just weird. I can't really say how I felt at the time. I was a kid, you know, hearing my song on the radio. I didn't like listening to myself on the radio. I remember that. It was, I didn't like going to school and kids knowing that I was on the radio. I just liked to sing. But
driven by passion more than anything else. Well, clearly this passion has managed to sustain you.
Yes,
yeah, and
definitely.
Your future plans?
Well, I'm working on some new music right now, and I plan on releasing at least a single by the fall, Your Autumn. and I've got some other projects in line, and more acting, definitely more acting.
All right. Well, for those who do not know the sounds of Tevin Campbell, if you're too young to actually hear some of the songs that are playing right now, like I'm Ready, here is a little bit of a taste of what you can expect. All right, now obviously we've got lots and lots of young people like watching your music and thinking, oh my gosh, what an inspiration. Let's talk a little bit about the new material that you're currently working on.
Well, I'm working on a concept album. I've never actually had a chance to tell my story.
Okay.
Most of the songs, like I'm Ready and Can We Talk, were songs that were written for me.
But you just said that now I've never had a chance to tell my story. What is that story?
Oh, the story of being a child in the business and growing up and becoming a young man. I stepped away from the business to grow up and become a young man. And I want to tell that story. Being humble, being disciplined, all those things. I mean, it's not a drama or anything like that.
Yeah.
But, you know.
And when can we expect the release of your new material?
Well, I'd like the album. I would like something to be out by the fall. The album, realistically, probably won't be released until the first of the year. So.
Okay, so we're looking at probably January next year.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's great. That's great stuff there. We're looking forward to having more and more of your material. Obviously, still a very inspirational music artist. We have been talking to Tevin Campbell about his music career, future plans, and of course, to find out more about Tevin Campbell, as well as the South African trip, you can visit www.computicket.com or follow him on Twitter, and his Twitter handle there is Tevin_Campbell. That's Tevin_Campbell. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back shortly, straight after this.